All right, Sunil Gavaskar with us. I know you briefly mentioned that you'd give 9.5, I think you said, out of 10 to the Indian team. Now, he's a tough man to satisfy. What are the reasons behind giving those high marks?
Like I said earlier on, it's a near perfect game that India played. The bowling was really very good. At the start of the innings, so there was some little help from the pitch. At about 10:30, you'll always get a little help from the pitch for the new ball bowlers. So they managed to get the ball to move around, kept Quinton, Kock and Hashim Amla quiet. They opened out a little bit later and they got a few runs. But the energy level of the Indians never went down. The energy level was high throughout. The fielding was really outstanding to a great extent, except for the drop catch, a couple of missed fields. But just generally, I thought it was absolutely top class. It's only for a couple of those, missed fields and the drop catch, I would take 0.5 away from them. And then the chase, the way they went about the chase, I would say that maybe Rohit Sharma again that 0.5. You don't need to play that shot. You're not asking rate was not 10 runs and over. So you've got a 4 and a 6. The asking rate is less than 4 runs and over. The important thing is at the start, do not give South Africa foot in the door. A couple of wickets at that stage, 20 for 2 or 20 or 40 for 3 would have pressure. So it was important, therefore, for Rohit Sharma. Lovely wicket, no reason to do anything, no reason to step out of the pitch and look for a loft to dry. I know it's a natural game. And again, as I say, 10 runs and over, or if you're batting first or something, and you know that you've got to keep going, yes. But when you know the asking rate is less, why go for that? My only worry is, yes, you must dominate, but at the same time, do not give the opposition a foot in the door.
Okay. Now let's talk about the decisions that were taken. And we usually, end up talking about decisions taken on the field when India loses and what could have been done better. But now that they won, let's talk about the decision they took, which really turned out to be very good for them. Toss, for example, like we spoke about this, conventional wisdom says pressure game, back first. He decided to field, in the end, turned out perfect.
No, I think it was, as I said, because of the fact that you have this situation of the rain around. I think, if you win the toss, you're going to field first because it gives you an opportunity to capitalize on the DL method, know exactly how many runs you got to get. Maybe you might actually have to bat 25, 27 overs instead of the proper 50 overs. In a 27 over match, when you go going to bat, you can't be all out. You've got such a good batting lineup. Okay, then put pressure on the opposition because again, yes, there will be the first 7, 8 overs of field restrictions. You can go berserk in those 5, 7 overs, knowing that you can't all out in 27 overs. I mean, very few teams to get out all out in 27 overs. So I think, therefore, it was a correct decision. Maybe if it was a decision in India or England, with India or Australia, when there's no rain around, that is understandable. That you're taking the bat first. So all in all, I think it was just a display. I am so delighted with the positivity that the Indian team has shown. It is incredible. I mean, it has been, I've very seldom seen an Indian team so positive in its approach. And sorry to say, South Africa.
That was my next question. I always think that we'll never bring the choking word again because it's not fair to a team. But what does one do every time and time again? This time, in fact, we were just discussing this. It's not just choking, there's surrender. Choking would be you're getting close and then you collapse from them. There was no fight.
There was no fight whatsoever. I think the runouts were absolutely unnecessary. And when you get into a runout situation, you survive. You generally take upon yourself the responsibility of scoring the runs for the man you've got run out. I'm not saying it's deliberately done. It happens in the game of cricket. But you tend to, say to yourself, right, I must score runs because I made a mistake in going for that run. And therefore, I should try and get the runs that he would have scored for the next man who also I got run out. So generally, when you look at that situation where two batsmen are diving and you actually have David also staying there, what does it tell you? It tells you that maybe not everything is all right in the South African dressing room. I mean, there's Faf du Plessis, not just a senior player, a captain of the test team, but somebody who's been batting at the crease for a while. Has just come in. Sure, he's got runs in the previous game, but you would say to yourself, the man's at the crease for time. I'll sacrifice my wicket. That didn't happen. When that kind of thing happens, you start to question, is there something seriously wrong in that dressing room?
Okay. Could you say that was the turning point De Villiers getting out. I know he's not been in great form, but we know how dangerous he can be. That from there on, because we saw South Africa just fell flat, wickets after wickets kept falling.
Well, I mean, yes, he's a big player. He's a big match player. He's an impact player. He can turn the match around in a matter of a few overs. So yes, his wicket is a big wicket. Quinton has got a tremendous record against India, 500s in 10 innings, plus this now 650. So those two wickets were very, very important. Having got those two wickets, India certainly felt that they would be able to restrict South Africa to maybe 250, 260. Then the Miller run out happened. And then you say to yourself, hang on a minute, we might be able to even get them out for 210, 220. And 210, 220 in modern day on a pitch like this, which is a good pitch to bat on, nothing really is happening. It's no big deal. So yes, I think that the De Villiers turning run out was the turning point.
Okay, just looking at things that India needs to do. Of course, the Ashwin decision played out just perfectly. He did really well. Hardik Pandya went for a few. Do you think could he still the weak link as far as the fifth bowler is concerned? Something that India needs to look at. Also considering the batting is not being utilized. Never go down below 4, 5.
Yes, absolutely. I think the fact that Hardik Pandya generally is pretty expensive just makes it that much more difficult. It makes it that much more difficult simply because, you have this situation where because I mean, if he's going to start bowling those bouncers and, he gets clobbered for runs, that doesn't help. He sometimes releases the pressure that the rest of the team has. When he bowls a good line, good length, he's a very good bowler. But he's a young man. Because he's got a little pace, he thinks that the bouncer might work, in Ranji Trophy or, in local matches. But against international cricket, it doesn't always. So occasionally it will work. Have a look at his runs being considered. It's the bouncers which have conceded the runs. And therefore, he should look to concentrate on the fuller leg deliveries, where in England, he'll get the ball to move around.
Okay, let's talk about the batting. Shikhar Dhawan, he must just love the Champions Trophy. Last time, the highest run getter. And now he's again the highest run getter. He just enjoys this particular, or maybe I don't know if it's something to do with England.
Maybe it's something to do with South Africa. Against South Africa, he scores runs every single time. But yes, I think he's been batting well. I think the thing that I said earlier on the live show was the fact that he is now playing the ball a little late. Earlier on, he seemed to be reaching for the ball and therefore not giving him time to counter the late moment. Also, I think his foot was not quite getting to the pitch of the ball. Now the foot is getting to the pitch of the ball. He's playing a little bit late, and therefore it's more consistent. Therefore, and more importantly, he's looking to try and play in the V at the start. He showed the full face of the bat. Late on opening up. I mean, late after he got that 50, the couple of the shots that he hit for boundaries of Chris Morris, that was almost like, "Tu kaun-sa bowler hai? What kind of a bowler are you? Popatwadi bowler." And he's not a Popatwadi bowler. He's a very good bowler. But the way he smashed him for mid-wicket for one bounce boundaries, fantastic stuff. Really, really hard.
The other thing, of course, Indian fans would be delighted.
Again, I just got to be very careful every time I say Shikhar Dhawan. I'm sorry, Baba, if you think it's I know he's No. I don't care whether it's conflict of interest, as long as he's conflicting with the opposition and smashing them apart. I'm very happy.
Okay, now let's talk about the other batsmen. I'm sure Indian fans must be really happy that India have gone through. But the other happy thing for them would be Virat Kohli, scoring some good runs, and some of those shots were stunning.
Yes, I think that he played off his legs to mid-wicket, not square leg, mid-wicket. Now, square leg is easier. You use the angle of the ball and you hit it to square leg, it's fine. But to mid-wicket, between mid-on and he hit. There were a couple of shots that went straight to the fielder as well. So, I think the fact that he's got into form is also really, really good omen as far as the Indian team is concerned, because you want your captain to be in form. When the captain's scoring runs, when he's dominating, his body language, everything works. Suppose India bats first and Virat Kohli gets a 70 or 100. When he goes on the field, he's so confident about the moves that he's going to make. Fielders in position, bowling changes, everything. So it's a very good sign. Everything is looking good as far as the Indian team is concerned.